The Factory Must Grow, From Starter to Megabase. Episode 10, More Smelting. Between episodes, I went ahead and ran roboports out to the two forests, Logging Camp East and Logging Camp West, and marked a bunch of trees for the bots to cut down. This way, they will keep a constant supply of power poles for me. I also set up some research that should have been going, which I had forgotten. The next step is a new smelting area, which will want 4 full belts of iron and 3 full belts of copper. We hardly touched our copper area, and we have a second iron patch handy. So in this base, moving to a new location for a second smelter is not needed. I will, however, establish a second north-south spine for the copper and a lane of coal, so that we don't share our coal with the existing smelters and plastic production. So if all goes well, let's unpause here. We should see a new line of coal coming down right in here, right about where we are doing our oil production. And the iron will come from this patch, and the copper will come from this patch down and around. Or maybe, actually no, I'm going to bring the iron down from the right. So it's not really a formal vertical, so we won't pave or anything. I have enough resources that I can actually lay this out manually if I want. I will invite the bots to help me. And we want to leave a gap, a decent gap, because I don't know what's going to go on with that, the cracking of that light oil there. So we have some new blueprints that we will be using shortly. These will come in after the smelting, but for now, I have a mining blueprint, and I need my normal smelting and my steel smelting. So, in fact, let's drag this all the way out over to here. Yeah. So, apparently this steel smelting didn't have its snap to grid turned on, so let's turn that on. And check the other one while I'm at it. Aha! Snap to grid, relative. This one especially, if I didn't have snap to grid turned on, my far left and far right belts would get shared. So here we go. Start here. Need 2 of those. And then we need 5 of those. So basically we have 2 lanes of iron and 3 lanes of copper that are going to go into green chips. And so on and so forth through all sorts of other stuff. We've got some steel out here for some other stuff. Now at this point, our bots are bringing a whole bunch of stuff, which is really great. And I do want to extend my logistics network. It is extended over the top, so really all I need to do is bring this down and assure that it has power. And I am just going to line these up like that. Now down below, notice that this area down here is slightly larger than the logistics cast here. So what we'll do is I'm going to put this one here. Yeah, he needs to be clear of this guy. And there needs to be another one off to the right. I'm not sure if I can stretch that by one more or not. That's exactly perfect. And there's power for him. So with those in place, that's going to give me a nice area that I can put logistics bots down in, that I can build in using construction robots. Now I grabbed a whole bunch of resources here that I don't really actually need. So instead what I will do is I will make those available to the robots. I don't know whether they're going to need this or not, but if they do, here it is. And let's give them all of my steel furnaces. Now I'm going to just manually lay out some things that are easy to put in. Okay, so we have some power. I do need to get power pulled all the way over. Let's pick up one of our power poles and there. So my intent is to get these roboports powered up and going. The downside of building things like this with robots is you often can't control what order they build things in. And the way you deal with that is you put the most important things down manually. And if there's one area that must be built before another, you just only plant the first. So I could have striped this across and then simply trimmed off all but the top little bit and then laid out some of these guys. And with these placed, we now have active vertiport coverage, and I can go start working on setting up the mines themselves. And let's bring these lines up so I know where we're headed for. Whoops. There. Now he has power. So all these lines are going to head up to one place or another. And we need a fresh coal supply coming in here-ish. So let's start with the coal. I'm just going to drop it down there. As it turns out, my actual resource availability locally is much, much, much larger than I need for this initial base. So for instance, I have planned out more things than I need. That's okay. I'd rather go big, too big, and have extra space than go too small. But it also means that I don't need to worry about how tightly I pack things on the various resource patches. Make sure I've got some of each. I've got a whole bunch of mining drills. Let's actually pick up some extras. I probably should have counted up. Well, let's do that in a hurry. I need 5 belts by 30 is 150 plus another 30 is 180. Call it 200. So yeah, we need 200 mining drills ish. I am clearly going to need all the transport belts I can get my hands on, and then some. Now notice that we've got a whole bunch of construction robots that are slowly making their way across the map, because these logging camps, the robots will tend to come back along a direct line, and when they run low, they'll have to move slowly to one of the roboports to charge. And really, there aren't actually enough roboports there for them to charge properly. I'm okay with that. I just wish I'd thought ahead and hadn't, locked down so many of my robots. Okay. Stripe my power out here. And now we need to bring the power in somewhere convenient, like, here-ish. That's about the line. And this offends my sense of symmetry. There. So he's new coal. Just gonna pick right up where the old one left off. So that will bring coal in and deliver coal to all of our smelters. And now we need these first 4 lines are from this iron area up here. And I'm wondering if I should just place this vertically. This kind of fits, but I'd have to wrap things around. If I do it vertically, I can do it vertically and do a 4-to-4 split. Pick that up really quick so I can center it. That's good. Oh, and we're ready with more research. Let me think. I am going to finish up the railroad really quick here. Going to get LTN researched. And are there any other railroad things here that I want to grab? Bulk rail loaders. Stack inserters we won't be using in this playthrough, but they might be useful later. Worker robot cargo size. For some reason, the speedrunners don't seem to do cargo size. Okay, that'll hold us. Now this, we need to bring all 4 of these down, toss them through a 4-to-4 splitter, and then part them back out to these 4 lines right here. I think what I'm going to do is just bring them all over to the left. And we don't really need a fancy merge of any sort here. Just a stock, simple. There. Oh, and power. There. And by now, of course, the construction robots have completely satisfied all of this. Haha, almost. Well, actually, completely satisfied. How about that? And the next step is our 3 copper lines, which I am going to just set up here and wrap around. So these are going to head north, from the north, and before that from the west, to go pick up from that copper you're seeing on the far left. And this area is not covered by construction bots, so I'm going to just run it up here as a marker. And we need 3 full lines of mining for copper. It could just come straight out, and we will balance across the 3, and that'll be it. And I do not believe that I have Roboport coverage up here, but I would like to have the robots come take care of this for me. So now is the time to extend our Roboport coverage. Let's drop it in there. There, place these at maximum length. And then draw this to the left. And now we have Roboport coverage of our entire build area here. Now I am going to make this my center line. balancing 3 to 3. I just do it by doing a 4 to 4 balancer and wrapping one of the outputs back to one of the inputs. It's super easy. And I am not sure about the whole turning thing that I've been doing when this is actually not that much harder. So take one line. This does mean that there's a bit of a feedback loop. So I'm going to run this out first, and then I will manually run the sections that aren't covered by the construction robots. And this is why I carry a lot of belts on me. There we go. So the robots have laid out most of it. Oh, I betcha. There we go. Yeah, we just didn't have power because that one power pole was behind the roboport. So, well, that confirms that we are doing a nice, even division into thirds. Now, I could have just run all the belts, well, run one of the 3 belts and then did the 3 to 3 balance at the end, and I would have gotten some output. But again, this is not a speed run. I don't need to get a little bit of output as soon as possible here. So there we go. And once that arrives, we should then see our copper coming out on these guys. And we already have iron here and here. And we have our steel. We're going to need all the steel on one line here. So there we go. I'm going to grab a little extra steel here. There. So let's see how our copper is coming. I want to make sure we're actually... Oh, I don't have radar coverage, so I won't be able to look up with the radar. Hey, here it is. And what I want to see is I want to see all of it. Oh, and this is not within build area. Okay, so manual build a little bit of this. So there's our iron mine all set up. Let's go make sure that our copper got laid out. This looks an awful lot like a completely full belt of copper ore, so our copper is probably set properly. And a quick poke with the eye, and what I see is all those miners are largely green with a little bit of yellow on the last one. That is good enough. Now eventually we're going to need a little bit more copper when we start building low density structures, but that's a while down the road. This second smelter area, which is really just a continuation of the first in this build, this is going to be responsible for building a bunch of green chips and then a bunch of red chips and I think processing units and modules. I'm suspecting that we're going to need some more smelters on the end here to get everything, but we'll see as this goes through. What's flickering over there? Ah, we have a box that is not within a Roboport range. Ha ha ha. And that looks like a junk box I put down. It is. I'm just going to pick that up. And speaking of junk boxes, well, let's go ahead and place this. Yeah, there's the other junk box. So rather than cart around this junk, I'm going to put my junk back in here. Boom, boom. All this stuff that I don't think I need. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to need the productivity modules. I think this is all good. And then we're going to say deconstruct. And now our construction robots will come pick up everything from those boxes and filter it back into the storage crates. And we're good. Let's go take a look. Just a general once over the base to make sure we're healthy. I'm not seeing any empty belts. I'm seeing that our blue science is going onto the belt and getting sucked through, and yeah, so it looks like this is actually in balance, which I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think we'd done it to perfect balance. I thought I remembered needing more blue than that, but I figured this time that would be enough to keep us going. Anyway, if at some point we end up waiting for blue science, I may work out how to do a bigger one, but then think of all the things we would have to scale up here. It might be better just to let the base go on as it is and just acknowledge where we're bottlenecking this time. So this guy, I am going to just clip that. So those get refiled. Letting the boss put things in place, it takes a while, but once they've done it, oh, science. What's next? Gosh, I think we're up doing utility science already. So utility science and rocket fuel, we're basically coming down to the wire on what we need to build the rocket assembly area. Speed module 2. Let's toss some more lab speed in there. We're going to need fluid wagons. Let's get them out of the way. We're going to need concrete. That'll do it. And we are coming up on the 6-hour elapsed time mark in the factory. We're looking healthy. We've got plenty of storage for random stuff. We're moving plenty of stuff into random storage. I still have a bunch of reserved area that looks good. We've got a bunch of build area. I am going to get rid of that copper patch because we're going to be building down there. And we ought to be able to see what we have in our logistics network. I haven't checked that. So off to the right, we've got all sorts of stuff. We have a few things in our logistics area that I'd like to recycle. We can put down some requester chests at some point in the future and recycle like the ores, but that's not very much. And we've got plenty of storage chests, so we're not in any danger. Okay, so with that, I'm going to cut this video and start preparing for our next steps, where we start building larger green circuits and larger red circuits and modules and processing units and all of that stuff. So that's coming up. See you in the next one.